While that thing's starting, I'll get. Welcome. Wait, there we go. Yeah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I didn't hit this as good as Daniel normally does. I'm trying to get the jump in my voice and trying to get it to crack a little bit for you guys so you feel at home. But this is the You, Me, and BTC podcast. Sans Daniel Brown this week, but we are still here as your number one Bitcoin and Liberty podcast. Daniel is still in the chat, it looks like, because I don't remember making or saying what he said in the chat. It's also, I'm not sure if he's talking to anybody yet, but
he's spying on us. So if we don't show up next week, you'll know why.
Big Brother is always watching, and Big Brother is creepy Daniel.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's me and Zach tonight with you guys. I'm sure nobody has a problem with that. We're gonna have fun. There's some people said some shit about Bitcoin that wasn't complete garbage, unlike what almost my entire podcast was about on Monday. People aren't saying that it's shitty right now, so there goes me having any kind of credibility. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other people who were already saying good stuff about Bitcoin, and then we're just going to talk. We're going to help you guys commiserate. I know you guys have lost even more money, and I'm going to keep on saying what I've said every damn week since it started to drop is get out now, but make sure you give us all your Bitcoin before you do. But besides that, give us. We will take it in good faith, and we will not let you. We promise we'll give you your Bitcoin back whenever it goes up to $300,000. As one of the people who we're going to talk about.
We'll hold it for safekeeping. Just tell us your private keys. Tell us where you live. Anything else that we would really need to know, and we'll just keep it safe for you forever.
We're not going to take your social security numbers. We're not criminals.
We don't need that. Just your private keys.
We're basically as good as Mt. Gox. Yeah. But today we do have a different ad, and Daniel has already been screaming at us, so we're going to do this right. But our new ad today is UKIT AI, and what this is, and basically what I understand, what Daniel. I had already read it. He tried to summarize it like I'm an idiot, which I am, but whatever. UKIT AI is this. It's a program. It's not a program. It's a feature, a service. I'm sorry, a service where instead of you having to design your website and like your marketing, it works on it. It has programs and it works depending on what, like if you really want to hit a very specific audience, this can help you fine tune something like that. And the example they give is a lot of times like bigger companies have good websites. They can spend the money on doing that. They can have a bunch of people devoted to that. But the smaller websites, especially local stuff, there's a lot of shitty websites. I mean, I'm imagining that's the same out in DC with you, Zach, but around here you look up somebody that's local True Value has just the worst kind of website you've ever even seen. It doesn't work half the time. This is one, you'll get a good website out of them, and then also they can help you decide where you want to put the money, where you want to fine tune the website. Instead of say you only need to focus on certain things, maybe you don't need a flashy website, you just need something that literally works, looks very professional, because you're like a landscaping company or something like that, where most people aren't going to care. If you're going for more something where you're trying to hit younger people, you're trying to hit people who are kind of attracted by, oh, this looks cool and this website's super intuitive and it is nice and clean, they can help you with that too. So it's, if you want to fine tune your website, if you want to really kind of get a leg up on local competition or just any kind of competition, these guys can help you out with that. And again, that's UKIT AI. I'm not sure that they gave us any. I'm looking through the email they sent us now. I don't think they gave us any kind of a code for it. But you guys can check them out, look them up, see if that is something. If you're a business owner, if you want to run a website, or if you just want to run like, oh, I want to put up my music, or I want to put up my writing on something besides a normal that Squarespace or a drag and drop something. This can give you a 24-hour, 7 days a week designer and marketer for your website, so that they can really fine tune what you want from it. But again, that's UKIT AI, and check them out. They're sponsoring us this week, so you guys should love them and give them all kinds of money. Yeah, it creates and tests. This is a better way to put it. It creates and tests a bunch of different websites so that you can get the right amount of personalization you need. Anyway, we'll cut that off there because we probably already did longer than Daniel wanted. Anyway, this week, what are we going to talk about, Zach? Besides people losing more and more money and every single week deciding if they should suicide again.
I was thinking about tweeting that song by Logic, Suicide Hotline or whatever, because people probably need to hear that song. I have friends who on Facebook were bragging they bought in at like 10,000 and 12,000 and 13,000, and then when it kept going up, they would like post these like sarcastic snide comments about, oh man, I wish I bought in at $10,000. Oh wait, I did. I wish I bought in at $12,000. I wish I bought in at 14,000, and now they're wrecked. And so I hope you didn't kill yourself, guys, but I'm still laughing at your loss a little bit.
I don't know. Daniel's complaining something. Maybe he's not able to see the stream, so maybe he didn't get to complain about it because he's bothering me on text. But whatever. No, those are always the most annoying ones. Are the people who have just like gotten into something yesterday and then like, do you see these dumb motherfuckers over here doing this shit? I'm like, you were them the other day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roger Ver was on InfoWars today, shooting his mouth off about Bcash. And Alex, I've never met him, so I guess I can't hate him really. I just think Alex Jones is phenomenally stupid. But he was like asking all these questions and making these dumb comments. He mentioned Roger Ver mentioned core, and Alex Jones was going off in some like fake sci-fi like Tron voice, like, give us the core or something. I'm like,
you don't understand, Zach, is the globalists are really what's running the Bitcoin behind. The globalists and all the satanic.
You buy these supplements and improve your stamina and buy our proprietary vitamins. They're not vitamins.
What's his called? Just supplements. No, not Alpha Brain. That's Joe Rogan. Something male. I don't fucking know what it was. But yeah, no, it's because Bitcoin is used for the satanic pedophile cults, and big Bcash is going to be able to take that away and get done. The Bcash is involved with America and Donald Trump. It's MAGA, and we're going to get these globalists. We're going to kick them out of our country.
And it just makes me so fucking mad. I'm sorry. I need to calm down, but
I don't like to swear, but like these goddamn globalists, sons of bitches.
You do a good Alex Jones.
Just gotta,
but then they went to like audience calls, and they cut it short because the first 3 calls in a row were just excoriating Roger Ver for being a scammer. These guys are just like calling in and being like, it's well known within the Bitcoin community that Roger Ver is a scammer and Bitcoin Cash is just a scam coin. He's trying to defraud, and they just go on and on. They're like, all right, next caller, same thing, next caller. It was hilarious. He got wrecked.
Did anybody call up and just say Bcash, 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 Bcash?
No, I wish that I should have done that. That'd be hilarious.
I'm sure.
Sadly, no.
Zach, what are you doing with your time? Well, I don't know. Hello, James. You're now in the chat. Welcome. You're gonna get special treatment today because you're the first one here. I will not take off my shirt for anything less than 1 Bitcoin. Even if it is half of what you were offering, Daniel and Zach, I will still do it. But okay, yeah, let's get into this whole thing before Daniel. No, he didn't text me anymore. Good, Zach, you shut him up. SEC and the CFTC. Actually, I guess we never really did introduce ourselves either.
True. Everyone, you know who we are. We're your community Bitcoin experts.
Yeah, no, we're your favorites anyway. You don't need to know our names. We're trying to keep it away from the government. But anyway, SEC and the CFTC breathe life into floundering crypto market, and we are stealing this unabashedly from Cointelegraph, but it's by Gareth Jenkinson, which is get a new name. I guess I hadn't heard about this until Daniel mentioned about it, but and it did help Bitcoin. It was already kind of stabilizing, but it gave it a little bit more life. It bumped us up back above 7,000. I remember yesterday I was in the gym I go to plays like the local news the entire time, but not with any sound. So it's just those like black on television subtitles that suck and are like 5 minutes behind what they're saying. But I looked over and I saw the screen and it said Bitcoin closes below 6,000. I'm like, wait, what? No, what? I don't think you guys really understand what's going on. This doesn't ever close, and I think it was 6,000 yesterday. So you're kind of fucking over it. But this just the article talks about there was a hearing by whatever letters I said before is actually the Commodities and Future Trading Commission and the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, that's the SEC, had a meeting on Tuesday, and they talked a lot about cryptocurrencies, ICOs, and blockchain. Right around then was when we were dropping right below $7,000. And then I guess, like Daniel was saying, we put a lot of stock, if not because of there being like an actual, like they're not the ones actually stopping an ICO from stealing your money. This law isn't going to save you or something like that, but we do put some, we put a lot of thought or a lot of power from our imagination, as Daniel said, to them. So whenever they made some good comments, specifically the CFTC, the Commodities and Future Trading Chair, Christopher Giancarlo, and the SEC Chair, Jay Clayton, made some pretty good statements. Giancarlo, Jesus Christ. Giancarlo delivered an upbeat address saying if there was no Bitcoin, there'd be no distributed ledger technology. Which, yes, I mean, that's
true.
Yeah, good job. He says they're here to stay, which again, I will talk about this a little bit later, but it's like, why is this your decision? I get that it's good, and I see how it helps Bitcoin, but it's still annoying. But he also made, I guess this is the statement that they're mentioning there. Quote, virtual currencies mark a paradigm shift in how we think about payments, traditional financial processes, and engaging in economic activity. Ignoring these developments will not make them go away, nor is it a responsible regulatory response. The evolution of these assets, their volatility, and the interest they attract from a rising global millennial population demands serious examination. I think this is also where I saw this morning a Reddit post about the millennials hate stocks and love crypto or something like that. I think that's kind of what they're mentioning, but they're like, all these new kids with their newfangled coins are just coming up. Clayton, who's the SEC chair, Jay Clayton, says they echoed the sentiments, but he produced a discourse that gave credit to the cryptocurrency. Distributed ledger and other emerging technology have the potential to further influence and improve the capital markets in the financial services industry. Clayton continued, quote, said simply, we should embrace the pursuit of technological advancement as well as new and innovative techniques for capital raising, but not at the expense of the principles undermining our well-founded and proven approach to protecting investors in markets. Which right now, before we go any further, fuck you, Clayton. What are you talking about? It's well-founded and proven to protecting investors in markets. Like the whole thing, not the whole thing, but legitimately, like there's always just some new thing that they're using that the stocks are kind of like, it's not as bad as like the Wolf of Wall Street stuff, but that's almost like we kind of use that as an excuse for which, oh, it's not that bad. We're not having it's not the financial crisis in 2008, but it's not that bad. I mean, well, that's like the absolute worst. You can get like these, not just predatory loans, but we just in general don't have a very good idea. That isn't necessarily just the like, it isn't the regulators' fault. You're never going to be able to regulate people's stupidity with how they approach things. That's part of my problem with trying to ban ICOs. It doesn't end up helping because those people are just going to end up wasting their money someplace else. After that, and then I'll stop and shut up so Zach can talk for a little bit. Basically, just after that, they say that the markets reacted pretty well. As you know, Bitcoin's been falling, just like the stock markets have right next to them.
Yeah.
And then people on Twitter were like, hey, this went up. I noticed. Let me tell you, and retweet me. And then nobody, Zach needs more followers. Nobody's following. Fuck the Winklevoss twins. Who cares about them? bunch of fucking weirdo looking twins. No, twins are never a good sign whenever you're doing it. They're always creepy and they look like they're trying to take over the world.
Twins are never a good sign. Tim Baker.
That's why they used to think they were from witches back in the day.
Oh, good thing I'm not a twin. Yeah, I agree. Well, first things first, I care about nothing in life but my followers. So please follow me on Twitter. That literally is the only thing in my life I care about right now. I would literally give you all my Bitcoin to have more followers than, I don't know, someone with a lot. But on a more serious, actually, there's no more serious topic than that. But on a less serious topic, I don't know if I still have a firm opinion. I think it's tough with the whole ICO regulation thing because what's his name, Chairman Giancarlo or whoever, chairman of the CFTC, said in the hearing, hey, people are enthusiastic about cryptocurrencies. That's sweet. Let's not kill it. He said we owe them our respect. And yes, millennials getting the respect we deserve, finally. But he also said we need to crack down on people who abuse that enthusiasm by scamming people. And everyone's gut reaction is, yeah, hate scammers, crack down on them. Yeah. But at the same, and I agree, I don't disagree. I don't think we should just love scammers because they're shitty people. But at the same time, I don't know. It's a pretty simple analogy, but we learn not to touch a hot stove, not from our mommy telling us not to touch a hot stove, but from actually touching a hot stove, or by just being smart enough not to touch hot things. I don't know. So if you're
Zach apparently burned himself a long time. You're a genius and you know not to touch fire or something.
It looks really cool. No one told me not to fucking touch it. And so if you hopefully you're over the age of 12 if you have Bitcoin or something. No one under the age of 12 should have Bitcoin because you're not smart enough yet. If you're over 12 and you have Bitcoin, you can't just give it away to people. You have to look at it. And if you give it away to someone and you get fucked, then you won't do it next time. It's it's that simple. So
that's why little kids should have Bitcoin, though, Zach, so they can get scammed for $5.
True.
That's why.
True. But now what I'm saying essentially is let your little kids get scammed and let them cry, and then they'll be better for it.
Yeah, but, it's better than losing all your money.
But where's the lie? Yeah, where's the lie? So I'm not gonna force my kid's hand on a hot stove and say, yeah, you like that? It's just
this hurts me more than it hurts you. Don't worry.
I'm not gonna force him to invest in a scam. And I hate scammers, but at the same time, you have to realize that if people make people learn from their own mistakes the best. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I kind of disagree with you because I love scammers. I like people who get stuff over on other people. Even if I don't like it when it's me, but I like watching other people suffer. But part of the thing is, okay, they're always we need to look at this. And I'm always that sounds more like you're talking about putting restrictions on me than actually putting restrictions on somebody doing something. Because they'll be well, we need to do this in the way to make sure that no ICOs scam people is you have to have a certain kind of license that comes with this, and then people will never do it again because no registered mechanics or fucking handyman ever dip out on a job or something like that. It's not necessarily just going to stop things, and most likely it ends up getting, even if he doesn't mean it, even if his intentions are completely fine, most of the time, this is true with a lot of laws, I would guess. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, no, sure. Let's protect children. I mean, this is first one that pops about the idea, same thing. You don't want people to get scammed. You don't want kids to get abused. But then the more of the harsher or the more stringent your idea of what abuse is or what a scam is, because sure, protect all the kids, never let anybody get scammed. But then you do end up where you're well, no, but sometimes this is legitimately taking a kid away from an adult because you think that they because you think that the way the adult is raising the child is like emotional abuse or something like that, because any number of reasons. Me personally, like this, as we talk about the stuff and like not wanting to force stuff on people's as far as laws, I get kind of conflicted because I am against like hitting kids. I don't see that as a legitimate way to go about, like, we don't do that to anybody else. You don't go, okay, we're having an argument with your girlfriend, just hit her, because that'll learn her. Like we did that 50 years ago, decided it wasn't a great idea. But then at the same time, I don't want to be like, see, and now what we need to do is if you see somebody spanking their kid in public, we need to get the what's the people who deal with kid, but we need to get them to come in and take you away, so then the kid is in the state's hands. So yeah, good idea on, sure, yeah, let's keep people safe, but let's see how you actually do that without just taking away the whole thing. That's the idea of crypto, as far as almost like a cheaper alternative to like to start up and make money off of that. It is the Wild West, so it's like anybody can do it at this point, which is good and bad. And I don't want to see that taken away from somebody just because we say, well, you need to have a license to be able to do this, or you need to have some kind of certification to be able to set up an ICO or anything like that. Did you hear about this at all whenever it happened?
The hearing? Yeah.
Okay. Were you like,
I think, like, I didn't watch it live, but I watched some of the minutes afterwards. And yeah, I agree. Like, licenses for certain things, like, I'm not a huge, like, anarcho-capitalist or whatever that thinks all government is stupid. Like, I think you should be able to, like, a government's job in certain arenas is to create licenses and keep people out of doing certain things. And obviously, which things they should do that for and which things they shouldn't is the big question. But they, like, securities regulators as a whole, have done, on the whole, I mean, it's probably a wash on some of the things that they have regulated and licensed and approved and have turned out to be okay, and the things that they've regulated and licensed and approved that have turned out to be shitty and created bubbles and massive market collapses and screwed people over and all that stuff. So you can't just, like, these people can't just say, we need to regulate ICOs because government regulation is like a solution we need.
It's been super helpful before, right?
Yeah, because it's really fucked some people. So, yeah,
I'm cool. Like, if I would, I would be, yeah, I guess more optimistic, because it seems like they do want to learn about it. That kind of scares me.
They seem to understand it decently well already. Like the guy, what's his name? Well, Twitter fucking loves him now. Like, he had like 8,000 followers before the hearing, and now he has like 40,000 followers or something.
Clayton, you mean, or the other guy?
Giancarlo, the other guy. Yeah,
Giancarlo.
But like Giancarlo and Clayton both were saying, like, ICOs aren't cryptocurrencies. We need to keep them separate. And I'm like, yes. Instead, you can't separate blockchain from Bitcoin. Like, yes, awesome, that's great. And all these things, they seem to understand. And one of them even mentioned HODL or HODL, however you fucking say it. They understand things decently well, like not perfectly, but they're obviously not that misinformed. I think the best thing the CFTC could do is fund or subsidize or something in some way, contribute if they wanted to do anything. And I'm not in favor of subsidies per se, but if they want to do anything positive to contribute, launch or support like educational programs to teach people which ones are scams, not to have like a team of investigators go around and say, your project is a scam, your project is a scam, this one's okay, but to help people make that determination for themselves. So
yeah. And I like that idea. And you think of that was a lot of stuff you wish they would put, and I don't mean this the way it's going to sound at first, but put more of this stuff into education. And by that, I mean, like, legitimately putting money into educate. Don't buy the fucking touch screen, like whiteboards for kids. Don't do all this shit. Just legitimately, even if it's making smaller public schools, if we have enough money, we launch goddamn missiles all over the world every single day. We can pay to have more than one high school divided up in an area so that you can have more people get taught. So that's just in general education. But then specifically about crypto, it would be cool if then they could take, okay, let's throw $1 billion at trying to educate other people. If we do want to see it flourish, if we do want to see it used correctly, then educate the people, and then they can figure out, oh, this one's kind of fucky. Let's not do this one, versus just like you said, and I think that is the biggest problem with a lot of the government involvement is they don't do it that way, because partly that's kind of, even as I say it, I understand that's kind of ridiculous to legitimately educate all those people and get them to pay attention. But having a board or a group of just, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is bad, is normally the best way to have issues and to have favoritism played, to have corruption, and just to not make the best decision anyway. So
yeah,
if you're going to take the money, if we're going to subsidize anything, let's subsidize teaching people better. So yeah,
plus,
let's do that.
That's shitty. Plus, this is not going to sound, well, actually, maybe it will sound the way I want it to. In some sense, also, I think that scams are subjective in a sense. Like, obviously, in some ways, they're very much objective. But if you go on Twitter, you see people saying literally every coin except for Bitcoin is a scam. And some people saying, no, that's clearly not true. And so they disagree on what a scam is. And if you leave it up to one person to make a final decision, someone's going to be happy and someone's not. So, like, at the beginning of our episode, if you gave us all your private keys, totally not a scam. But if no, that's like the definition of a scam. We just want your money and we're going to run away with it. But if you buy Monero, then someone's going to say that's a shit coin. You're help funding a scam or something. And someone else is going to be like, no, it's a dope privacy coin. I don't know. On some level, it's subjective. So yeah, education.
Something like that. Yeah. And that would be exactly where the education would come in, because something like this, people make the joke all the time. Oh yeah, the US dollar is a shit coin or something like yeah. Because you can make that argument, because we don't have any specific definitions for stuff anymore, because we all talk too much. We talk too much on Twitter. We're constantly telling other people and looking up stuff, so we don't have a hard and fast this. And also, life just doesn't really work like that, where you can go, okay, this man is a scam, this man is selling an herbal remedy, this man is selling snake oil or shit like that, because scams are nebulous things. They're mysterious, and that's why I love them. So yeah, after that, you said you read the minutes, were you following it all on Twitter?
A little bit, yeah. So like Coin Center, and I guess just Coin Center like works with all these guys in Washington DC to try and educate them and stuff. Yeah, I forgot where I was going. And they work with the regulators to like help them draft money transmission licensing laws and that sort of stuff, and educate regulators so they can build complex financial instruments like swaps and other derivatives and that sort of thing, trading those financial instruments, and not kill Bitcoin. And that's cool. Like, have fun with it. But I was thinking on the way home, like, we talk all the time, or at least some of us talk all the time about Bitcoin being about breaking down like barriers to investing and finance and all that stuff. And because you have to go through so much training and have so much money and certain accreditations, that sort of thing, to be an institutional investor. And yet we're sort of co-opting Bitcoin into that institutional investment scene, instead of saying, hey, people who are literally living in mud huts, let's figure out a way that they can transfer Bitcoin on the one cell phone that their village shares or something, and give them some sort of financial power or resource, and we're saying, hey, let's let the suit and tie Wall Street bros, finance bros, like add Bitcoin to their box of playthings. And that's not like, it's cool. Like, sure, it'll people say it'll probably bring some sort of soothing effect. It'll have some sort of soothing effect on the volatility, and like big money will grow the market cap and make us all richer. And I'm all for that. I love being rich, or I'm not rich, but I would love to be rich.
Please make us rich.
Yes, but like that's not Satoshi's vision, to use Roger Vere's words. So I don't know, just something to think about, I guess. I'm all for like helpful regulation if that's such a thing, but we just keep the true goal in mind, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing we talk about, like Bitcoin going mainstream versus staying as this thing where this is actually useful for somebody in Venezuela. And that's, again, it's same thing with scam. And then you say like Satoshi's vision, that anything like this can just be interpreted different ways. And that's why people get so mad at each other, because they're like, you're ruining Satoshi's vision. And they're like, no, you're ruining Satoshi's vision.
Yeah.
But that's, I had another point to that, I think, maybe. What were you?
Given the Wall Street bros another plate. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's just, I mean, it's going to happen. It's super, like, money is super, like, if anything in the world draws people, it's money. So I don't think we're going to go back from it being definitely looked as something as like an investment or like digital gold. And that whole idea of it being like super, super valuable just for that, not just for transactions. Yeah. But just to, I guess we've pretty much already said, do we actually care or not? I think.
Yeah.
Do you have,
I think I care because, like, obviously regulators have power, and so I'd rather have them be well informed instead of misinformed. But, like, personally, do I care if a Bitcoin ETF gets approved? Not too much, I guess. Like, I see why it will be valuable, but if it's not approved today, or if it's approved today as opposed to approved in several more years, don't really care too much.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It's not going to matter to you.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect me. Like, I can explain why and read tweets on why it would be a good thing, and I can read tweets on why all these regulations would be a good thing. But like, I'm just a guy living in a basement reading books and trying to relearn Python and get into school and stuff. So it's like, oh, Bitcoin ETF. I want a beer. I don't really care.
I think that's a good point, because a lot of stuff is like that, where it's,
yeah.
We were talking about education. Besides, part of education is getting people to realize that for some things, like someone would probably try to be like, no, you have to care, Zach, and you would treat for that. But a lot of people, it just doesn't matter. Like, this isn't important to me. And that's where, if Bitcoin does get to that point, like say it goes to, and we can talk about this next, where you brought up in the chat about the Winklevi, that evil, whatever they are, and they made a comment about the price going to someplace, and it's like, if it goes to there, what did they say, like 320,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Non-believers will suffer a failure of imagination, which again is just creepy. You guys don't need to say that. But if it goes to something like 320,000, and I think we probably will lose like the Venezuela stuff, because it's like, I don't like, it will be, if it goes to that, and because I imagine it will have gotten built more into the system. Nobody, like, they're not going to care. It's like, this doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't change, but like, this isn't where I'm focused. I'm focused on eating. I'm focused on the next television show. I'm focused on whatever. So I think, yeah, if if these guys could spread awareness for it, spread the desire for Bitcoin, I guess it's good if we have more money, but it doesn't really change Bitcoin. That's the whole reason I got into it, was because it didn't really matter. But as far as the price, yeah, it sounds great. I should probably buy more. Yeah, that's it. What's Do you have anything to say about the Winklevi?
Yeah, I think while I was chatting with Pierre Richard briefly over Twitter Messenger, because I saw that Bloomberg quote, and I was like, because we talks about Bitcoin being gold 2.0, and there's a book about it coming out and all that stuff, but I never heard the Winklevi, who own 1% of all Bitcoin, which I actually don't know if that's 1% of all Bitcoin ever to be mined or all Bitcoin ever mined right now. I don't know, but they own a lot of Bitcoin, and they said it's gold 2.0. It's disrupting gold, and I know they've been really bullish about Bitcoin before, but I was like, hell yeah, I agree with that statement, and it's dope that they said it too. But I also think it's when I first got involved in Bitcoin a few years ago, the narrative was this is cryptographic cash. You can buy a cup of coffee with it or something, which is Roger Vere's whole thing, buying coffee with it. But now, as the blocks have filled up and transaction fees have climbed, now which I don't know, you can't necessarily prove a cause and effect between that happening and the narrative shifting to digital gold instead of digital cash or cryptographic cash. But I feel like the narrative has changed a lot. I mean, don't you agree? From you bought your first Bitcoin way before me, but even when I bought it, 2014 or something, it was oh, this will be decentralized cash, and now it's decentralized gold. So I don't know.
I hadn't really thought about that for a while, not at least consciously, because you make the good point there, and I was about to ask you when it changed, and I imagine probably when we passed gold. Because no, you're right. Everything before that was about how it's digital cash, it's the email of cash, it's all this, it's it got started with everyone trying to be hey, this is untraceable cash. That doesn't sound like gold.
Yeah.
No one thinks, I mean, it technically kind of is, but it's this isn't the best thing to be trying to buy weird shit with, because it's kind of clunky a little bit compared to other things, which has become more true too, because there's a lot more alternatives. I mean, Litecoin was very early, but it didn't, nobody, I don't want to say nobody cared, because there were a bunch of people who cared, but I didn't, so it didn't matter to me. But I think it's definitely a big narrative shift. Definitely, I'm trying to remember when I first saw, it wasn't HODL yet, and it was when I was still living at my parents' house, so it's over 3 years ago, I think, probably a little bit more though. But it was I think two screenshots of 300, and it was instead of the shields, they had edited in Bitcoin, the round was dropping below $300 or something like that. And I'm trying to remember when that whole thing started, because when it was 20 cents or something, I don't remember people oh,
to the moon.
To the moon, as that's been around for a while. I don't know. Again, I don't know who started that, but again, to the moon back then meant $5,
30 cents.
So that's also part of it. Yeah, it's just actually, it might have been Doge, might have been to the moon. That might have been how it started, because of the dog. But that's probably mostly why it's just the idea of what is a good price for Bitcoin. If it went back to, this is a stupid point, but if it went back to 30, everyone would be pissed off. But it's it went from nothing.
Yeah.
So just the whole idea of the thing has changed around. The whole concept of it has. Nobody looks, I don't want to say nobody, but I think with how much the price has shot up, most people don't look at you having Bitcoin as this is either definitely someone who does a lot of drugs or a child pornographer.
Yeah.
I did still see. I saw like a post on it was like Facebook, and they're like Bitcoin's evil because uh 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 poor people don't get money, but like a guy who mined Bitcoin for an easier way to buy child porn now has millions of dollars. And I was okay. But most people don't think of it like that. Most people are like, oh, that was on Fox because it jumped up a lot. Most people, if anything, think of it as a bubble. But even then, because it's happened so many times, people don't treat it. They definitely don't talk to me about it the same way they used to. It's like it's been around for long enough that people are starting to be like, why are they saying it's dead? It's not.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, and I was actually just browsing through the Bitcoin obituaries earlier today because I hadn't been on there in a while. It sucks because it's kind of gotten diluted into just like generic "we hate Bitcoin" articles instead of like actual obituaries. But who cares? But yeah, people keep saying it's. Well, actually, no. That's what I was. What's this guy Rembini or something? Some like Indian quack. There was a screenshot of two headlines side by side on the Bloomberg terminal that said Rembini, Bitcoin's going to zero. Winklevoss twins, Bitcoin's going to 500,000. There's no middle ground. You're either full bear or you're full bull to the moon or to the center of the earth, I guess. I don't know, whatever the opposite of the moon is.
Yeah, I saw a tweet about. I didn't see the Remy, whatever you said, whatever his name was,
Rembini or whatever. I don't know his name.
The great Rembini.
Yeah.
I didn't see the Rembini. I just saw someone's like at this point the only people in Bitcoin are either like it's going to 500,000 or it's going to nothing, which I don't think is true. I feel like there's a bunch of people like us who just go, I don't know, it might do something.
Yeah,
a lot of people are sad. The people who's in one of the chats made a song yesterday because probably neglecting his work at this point and just made a song about how much Bitcoin sucks. So that's how it's touching people emotionally. So if nothing else, it's still a well of human emotion and experience. So that's why you should get involved in Bitcoin and be with us. Your life will be more interesting.
Yeah.
Hello, Olaf Hodel.
Olaf. He hasn't been here, or maybe he has. I haven't been here in a while, but my man Olaf, I remember him.
Should I get, or we should all get Hodel like stomach tattoos, like right across the bottom, like in like black metal script?
Yes.
Daniel will pass out. That's mostly why I want to do it. I think it'll look ugly. I just want to see him just freak out in the chair and pass out. And then we can steal all his Bitcoin.
Hell yeah.
Again, we haven't even touched on this yet. If anyone's joining with us, Daniel's being a fuck today, and he decided he didn't want to talk to you guys. So we're here with you. He was even like trying to derail us at the beginning, asking if our stream was working or not. But we served him up good. He knows to keep his mouth shut now. But we do have to thank him. He threw some articles at us to talk about. I don't really have too much to say about the Winklevoss twins. I'd known they said they were good about Bitcoin, and it seems like they bought enough. I wouldn't expect them now to be like, nope, it's dead. I mean, that's part of it. Is like the whole just the Winklevoss twins saying it can go up can make it go up. So it's yeah, sure, they're gonna do it.
Yeah. We could talk. Well, so the Winklevoss, obviously Winklevi, as I like to call them, obviously own a lot of Bitcoin. And on that note, we could sort of springboard into something people always ask. Somebody asked me last week, which forced me to have a good answer. So here's my answer to the question: aren't you worried that like a lot of Bitcoin is held by a small amount of accounts? And obviously some of those wallets that hold a lot of Bitcoin are exchanges, so not necessarily individuals. But so the answer I gave the person who asked me, Carl, was no, I'm not. Like, obviously it's not ideal, but in comparison, we have Bitcoin where you have, I actually don't know the exact number, but it's like a certain percentage of wallets hold a massive amount of Bitcoin, like 40% of Bitcoin or something like that. And if they dumped it all, that could seriously hurt the price, obviously. Just dumping all that Bitcoin in the market would not be super dope. But at the same time, in comparison, we have the shitcoin, the US dollar, that is 100% owned by, or produced, I guess, held by one party, and they can dump as much of that shit on us as they want to, and they do it all the time. So are you more worried about one person dumping as much green paper on us as they want to, or some Bitcoiners who hold a lot of Bitcoin and our odds are never going to dump all of it or even a lot of it on us, just holding it? So from that perspective, no, I'm not worried. So there's my rant.
Yeah, I think what they don't understand, or what they want us to think, is that, oh, well, again, it's this whole thing, be more scared of independent actors than of a collective government that can actually do it. Generally, these collective or these independent actors are going to be like, wait, if Bitcoin even goes up to half or a quarter of what the Winklevoss, I will have more money than I have any idea what to do with, because it's not necessarily the same kind of people, the same families that have had money for years and years, and we're not talking just like millions. I mean, I can't even imagine how many Bitcoins some of these people have.
Yeah,
but that's just so much. Good point.
Yeah, like the Pineapple. I used to work at the Institute for Justice. It's a civil liberties law firm in Arlington, Virginia. And just today, the Pineapple Fund, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners are familiar with, just like this mega Bitcoin whale that donates a lot of Bitcoin to random charities, they donated $2 million just like that to IJ. And they've done it to at least a dozen other charities too. And I'm sure that's not even like half of all the Bitcoin they have. They have so much Bitcoin. So, yeah, that was dope because I love IJ and I loved working there. But also, it just blows my mind how much Bitcoin these people have. And see, I'm saying Bitcoin as singular now. Like, my big thing was Bitcoins. How many Bitcoins do you have? But I just said how much. I've probably been saying how much Bitcoin all night.
I think so, yeah. You've fallen into it now.
Yeah, fuck.
We have you. Before we talk about anything else, I did remember Daniel sent me this, and I didn't know what this was. I thought this was some old thing. There is a new thing. If you're in Hawaii, any of our Hawaii listeners, please identify yourselves in the chat and then get the fuck out. There's a new. I'm confused by the webpage because wait. I'll share it. That'll make this easier. I should have been doing this before. But no, not cameraman. God damn it. Fuck. Where's screen share? Right there. Yes, share. And that's going to freak out and we're all going to die. Okay. Right there. If you live in Hawaii, okay, look, right up here. If you live in Hawaii, please testify at the hearing Friday, February 8th. Never mind.
Well, if you missed it, boys and girls.
God damn it. Anyway, it's about a bit license. It's about how now if they in the idea, and it's also in Nebraska, and again, this is February 6th. None of this is helping. You can call your senator, I guess.
You're still in Hawaii. Fly to Nebraska and testify. It's your duty.
It's already happened. Nothing you can do. Nothing to save yourself. But the idea is, and I guess we should maybe be more reporting what happened, but I don't know. It's more fun this way. I'm going down. There is. Okay, here. I think the idea is that any of these bit license things, the problem with them, like what we were saying before, okay, it's a good idea, but it can get applied very stringently, and then like they're saying they're trying to crack down on all kinds of scamming and all kinds of like money laundering, but the idea is they want to remove what this website wants to do, and I'm doing a terrible job of it, and this is of helping them. I do apologize. They're called abolishthebitlicense.org, so check them out.
But I think I think their thing was marijuana too, because if you look at one part, they have like
I was so confused.
crossed out legalized marijuana, It's just like, we want you. They could have just taken. It's not a piece of paper. You could have just deleted that text. It's like
that's what happens whenever you smoke weed. Is you do dumb shit like this.
Yeah.
But they want to take digital currency out because I think the bill is saying, I'm not finding the bill, but it's saying that you can be gone after for using currency in an illegitimate manner for them to be able to more easily go after money laundering. But cryptocurrency, digital currency, is the only thing that doesn't have like a specified legitimate value. So then technically they could just say, if they wanted to, they're not going to use it against everybody, but if they want to fuck with you, if they want to just arrest you on something, they can just say, oh, well, you did this, so we need to investigate you now because it might be part of money laundering or terrorist funding. They give it to us. It's ours now.
Yeah.
They say Bitcoiners are not crooks, and I say some of them are, but not all of them. No,
some of them are.
February. Yeah, no, I don't know how time works either. So I guess like I didn't, unless it's the wrong date, because they're saying February 8th is Friday, which is today. So yeah, no, Hawaii isn't that far away. So no, actually either they fucked up, or if it was on Thursday, it was today and you missed it anyway. But if it's tomorrow and you're Hawaii again, stop it, I guess.
What I missed?
Dumping the shirt on people.
Get him out of here.
Olaf, were you in Hawaii? We may have.
Tim and I are desperately trying to get all these Hawaiians to go to Nebraska to end the New York bit license. I don't know if that's how this works.
No, yeah, that was a. We were emailing a little bit with someone who's pretty passionate about that. So.
But they're also passionate about weed. Like, if you look at their website, it's like crossed out. It's like, just kidding. We finished with weed.
It doesn't make any sense.
Hey, I seriously need to know what I missed. Do you guys, do you care that the regulators, said some kind of nice things about Bitcoin? Does it matter what they say?
You want to take a guess as to what we said?
I bet Tim doesn't give a crap what they say, and Zach is like, well, yeah, it seems pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I said I'm sort of ambivalent, but I guess I would rather have them say nice things than bad things. And he seems to understand. Right. He seems to understand it pretty well. Like, he's like, you can't have Bitcoin without blockchain or whatever, and ICOs are not cryptocurrencies and all this stuff. I was like, yes, nice. So
yeah,
he understands.
That's true. That's pretty accurate. What about my poll? The question was, would you rather have laissez-faire regulation or no regulation? Or I also included a ton of regulation, but I know we wouldn't vote that.
Anyone who votes that, just unfriend me right now.
69% none, 15% laissez-faire, 8% full regulation, and then 8% other, because I just pressed it.
Wait. You're saying, I'm trying to pull up the results. So you're saying more people said none?
Yes. What's the best kind of Bitcoin legislation? Well, I mean, what do you mean, wow? That's
I would have expected a lot of laissez-faire. Because my expectation would be that a lot of our audience would say, if there's no regulation at all, like if there is no laissez-faire regulation, then there can't really be innovation. People are going to be too scared to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like Zach is definitely the most, I think. Yes, no, good job, James. Laissez-faire. Yeah, that's exactly what our listenership is. No, Zach is probably the most not for, but like most okay with that. It seems like most of the people on Twitter are like the way they talk or something. It sounds a little bit more like the.
I'm just waiting to get kicked off the show when Tim and Dan are like, "Fuck that, we're anarchists. We hate the government."
This is when we eventually just knock you down, rip you out of your house in DC, and we're beating you in the street.
Where's the government now to save you?
Yeah, where are the police, Zach? Where are they? Eat the rich, motherfucker. No, I think a lot of it seems like they make the joke like that. Seems like our audience is the U.S. dollar is the biggest shit coin ever or something like that.
I love Kyle Torpy, who's like the big news curator on Twitter. He had this awesome line. He was like, "The U.S. dollar is a shit coin, or it's just really an app coin for paying your taxes. I was like, oh, nice. I like that.
Well, hey, you guys still have viewers after an hour or however long you've been on here, so I'll give you some kudos for that, I guess.
We need to give us some kudos. We fucked this thing right.
To anyone who's watching, go follow me right now on Twitter. I've already said this. The most important thing of the night. It's literally all I care about in life right now. Please follow me.
Give a shit sizes. Again,
so that's Zach's advice of the week. You got anything, Tim?
I pretty much said I liked. I was okay with everything they said too.
You were okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I kind of, but more positive about than I. Like, I was like, yeah, sure, maybe they'll do something good, but probably not.
What about? Did you guys comment at all about? Because I put in the show notes, I thought it was kind of interesting how, those regulators could wreck Bitcoin with the stroke of the pen, even though they don't actually legitimately have that power, but in our heads they do. Everyone assumes that whatever they write on pieces of paper is right, and so they really do have that power, even though it's wrong. They have the power to wreck Bitcoin with a couple strokes of a pen. Did you guys comment on that at all? And their power.
I mentioned something about you saying that it gives people. I more mentioned this on how it was positive because it makes more people invest in it. If I didn't before, I'll said something now, or I'll say something now. They could wreck Bitcoin, but it would still be Bitcoin. It just less people would be involved. There'd be
it would be less valuable. That's for sure. Yeah. That's why I said in the show notes, I said they could wreck some parts of Bitcoin, like the price. Sure, they could wreck the price if they wanted to, but it would still exist and it would still be useful for a lot of the same things that people use it for today. So,
my advice would be call your legislator if you're in Hawaii and they got
go to Nebraska.
Right. No, I think the Nebraska's a couple days back. But stay safe, I guess.
I'm gonna my advice is also gonna be kind of generic, but it's just gonna be, something like patience is a virtue. Be patient, boys and girls.
When you have to, and then figure out when you need to and when you can't be patient.
That's fair. All right, guys. Well, any I guess you guys are running the show, so I'll let you close it off. Tim has the button, so have fun.
My button is a big button. It's super large and everything. My podcast button is bigger than yours.
This button measuring contest here.
Goddamn, World War I was a button measuring contest.
Pretty much. Nuclear buttons. That was World War II, I guess.
I don't really have anything else to say.
So I'm, click the button whenever.
Bye, guys. Love you. Check out UKIT AI. Let them know you came from us. Tweet them if they understand English. Zach, say bye.
No, never mind. Don't have anything. Just buy Bitcoin or give us your Bitcoin. Buy it and then give it to us. That's
my I've been saying this the entire episode. Please.
Cool.
Bye, guys. Love you. Peace. Thanks again.
I do not love you.